I'm not your average journalism major. While others chase headlines and dreams of Pulitzer Prizes, I try to explore stories through a different lens. One built on empathy and kindness. I try to weave words into tapestries of human connection, each thread dipped in compassion for others. I like to imagine my work as a purple butterfly with violet wings. I scoop it up, its delicate form trembling in my cupped hands, a whisper of an idea waiting to take flight. The butterfly is my muse. Fueled by this fragile beauty, I wrote The Purple Effect. This wasn't a breaking news story or a sensational expose. It was a story of everyday compassion. Ripple effects of empathy and kindness, invisible threads that bind humanity. But The Purple Effect wasn't born of beauty. Instead, it's a story about a friend whose life was stolen by gun violence. The hollowness echoes where laughter should be. An absence, a constant ache, exists where friendship once lived. However, amidst the despair, a flicker ignites. The memory whispers a single truth. We can change the narrative. We can build, brick by brick, a foundation of compassion, empathy, understanding. Instead of erecting walls of hate, we can build bridges of connection. My words, infused with genuine empathy, filled the page in front of me. My writing, like the butterfly's wings, fluttered from page to page, carrying with it a message of love and understanding. Soon, the purpose of The Purple Effect became clear to me. It's a reminder that there is love even in the darkest of places. In that moment, I understood that true change doesn't come from sensational headlines, but from the quiet hum of human connection. As a journalist, I can share stories that foster these connections. And so, my journey continues, one purple butterfly at a time.
I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was in, elementary school. It might have been preschool. First thing my dad said, he's not going on ADHD pills, it'll stunt his creativity. Creativity is my greatest strength. Although I grew up knowing ADHD wasn't bad, I couldn't help but feel it was hurting me. I tried to push through, tried to fit in. But no matter how many different processes, systems, or routines I tried, I always found myself in the backseat, watching my ADHD take the wheel. ADHD affected my relationships, my self-esteem, my schoolwork. In my first semester at Ball State, I nearly failed out. I just didn't know how to handle my disability. It's not easy living in a world that doesn't understand ADHD. It's like being left-handed in a room full of right-handed people, and you have to squeeze into a right-handed desk. It came time to accept that maybe I was just doing everything wrong, for me. Maybe I had to create my own systems. Once I did, things started to change. ADHD was no longer the shadow looming over me. It was just something I didn't understand yet. I decided that we could be friends. Maybe we just weren't getting along, you know? I think a lot of people grow up not knowing they have ADHD. Instead, they think there's something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with us. Our brains just work differently. What I've really learned is that nobody knows you better than you. ADHD has become a friend I'm still getting to know. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting closer to him and closer to what I can accomplish, but it's something I still have to uncover. So I take my time. I'm reflecting every day. I'm writing. I'm just paying attention. Really getting to know myself. There may be challenges along the way, but that's fine, because now I'm happy that I'm going through with this.
I learned how to take care of my house when I was 5. I learned how to cook at 10 and started cooking for the family at 14. At the same age, I started working at McDonald's. During my senior year of high school, I was at school from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., then worked from 4:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. When I think about my childhood, I wonder if this was a normal life. For most Asian females, it is. In my culture, males are considered to be a step above females, so I felt born at a disadvantage. My grandparents rushed to the hospital for my brother's births and stayed home for mine. I know I will never get recognition from my family for all the hard work I do around the house. I'm not thanked for making 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. It is expected. When I visit home, I'm expected to get back to work and provide for the house. Sometimes something as small as making a new dish is deemed unacceptable by my family. The most harmful thing is the constant comparison between my siblings and I. When I made mistakes growing up, my parents often said, "Why can't you be more like your brothers?" I don't hold animosity toward my family for raising me consistent with Asian culture, but I want to be part of the generation that changes tradition. When I hear the phrase, "You aren't good enough," I'm transported back to my childhood. I think of a lonely kitchen, the place I was criticized for getting a C on an assignment, the place I was scrutinized if I cut the green beans a different way, the place I desperately wanted to leave. My parents view college as additional education, but I know it's more than that. It's about discovering who I want to be for the rest of my life.
For the first 19 years of my life, I wasn't allowed to bond with my father. My mother kept him away because of his alcohol addiction. Once I had the freedom to make my own decisions after enrolling in college, I decided to give Dad a chance. I reached out on Facebook. We soon realized we had a lot in common. Although I was glad to finally be in touch, I was also sad it took so long. 18 years wasted. Late nights, when neither of us could sleep, we went for long drives. I realized he wasn't the bad guy Mom portrayed. That's when we really began to bond, sharing experiences with depression and anxiety. I even opened up about my struggle with borderline personality disorder. Then, in summer 2023, Dad suffered a heart attack while driving. He made it out alive, but had another heart attack during bypass surgery and was put on life support. The worst part was that I couldn't visit because I don't drive. Dad was mostly unresponsive in hospital, but I remember the last conversation I had with him. On September 4th, his birthday, I video called and wasn't expecting a verbal response. He called out, "I know you." I immediately started sobbing. That was the first time he had spoken since going on life support. Dad died October 3rd, 2023. The night before his death, I saw Dad in a dream. He said, "I'm going to be okay." But I woke up with a feeling of dread, and at 11 a.m., I received a text from my sister that he had passed. In the 5 months since, I still think about that moment nearly every day. But talking about his death is more therapeutic than difficult. Some days, I don't think about Dad. Others, I am consumed by grief. But I am a completely new person since getting to know my dad. I now have a lasting memory to make up for all the years we missed together.
Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale.
Several breaking developments tonight in the coronavirus outbreak.
The first
Also
major
breaking, New York City
announcement
State
from
Traffic
President
State
Joe
Parade
Biden
now.
about 78 times continues to break on this virus outbreak.
The world around me is chaos. My senior prom, canceled. My graduation, also canceled. But me? I'm surprisingly alright. I recently read an article that compared life to a game of Tetris. The whole purpose of Tetris is taking what is presented and arranging it in a way that works best, even if it is not ideal. You don't get a new piece and go, "I didn't like this one." You accept it and carry on. I grew in my spirituality during COVID. Once a girl terrified of the deep discomfort of disappointment, I learned the freeing skill of radical acceptance. Maybe not everything in life happens for a reason, but over time, I have begun to feel like I can learn and grow from anything life throws my way. Life is a game of Tetris, and for a while, I played with ease. But in October 2021, my sophomore year of college, I was sexually assaulted. How the fuck am I supposed to derive meaning from that? I lost my connection to spirituality after my assault. I was just so angry. I was never going to be the same person again. Am I supposed to be okay with that? A year and a half later, I stood before hundreds of people, megaphone in hand, in a handwritten speech growing crinkly in my anxious fingertips. It was April, the wind cool but fresh, hinting at new beginnings. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I was sharing my story at Take Back the Night, an annual event to honor sexual assault survivors. Before I leave, I'd like to share a quote for all the survivors in the audience tonight. Some individuals try to put their life back together exactly as it was. But like a vase held together by glue and sticky tape, the cracks are still visible, and the slightest jolt may send it back to pieces. But those who accept the breakage and build themselves anew become more resilient and open to new ways of living. They are sad their vase is broken, but they accept that it can never return to its old form. The question now becomes, what to make of it next? Perhaps the different colored pieces become a mosaic. Piece by piece, my mosaic was assembled, even more beautiful than the vase left behind. I wasn't the same person, but I love this new person. I'm a survivor. I am an advocate. I'm stronger and more resilient than I ever knew I could be. And I'm damn good at Tetris.